League of Legends in 2025 has been an interesting journey so far. With every year, Riot has a lot of plans for the game. Some are bad, and some are good, but some are just so notoriously unbelievable that you wonder if Riot was even paying attention to the game at all. These three champions all have an interesting story on how they became a problem, and you probably already know them if you have been playing League this season. But how were these champions able to slip through the cracks and become an OP champion overnight? Well, every story has its beginnings, but before we get started, 96% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed, and I would greatly appreciate it if you just hit that button. It is completely free and you're coming back anyways, so why not hit it? Anyways, let's start off by talking about the beginning of the season. Chapter 1. The Unmatchable Dog. Our first champion didn't even start his reign of terror in the first patch of the season, but was actually causing chaos for a couple of patches already. But let's go back even further to talk about how this happened. Warwick has been a lackluster champion for quite some time in 2024. He still had some major bugs, clunkiness, and overall was just not that good of a champion compared to other more capable top laners and junglers. His rework is a whole lot better visually, gameplay wise, and overall design, but Riot can't seem to get his stats and his major bugs right. Many Warwick mains during this time were convinced that Riot gave up on the wolf, as he didn't get any good buffs but mostly just a lot of bug fixes over the years. Even with all the bug fixes he got, more bugs would pop up and sometimes the bugs weren't even fixed. The bugs weren't even the biggest issue. The stats of Warwick was a major reason why he was so weak compared to a lot of other champions. Every single stat that Warwick had was extremely low compared to any other champion that he must match fighting. The reason for that is Warwick's lifesteal, and because of it, he had pretty decent 1v1 capabilities. But he falls off extremely hard, has no push power, and his early game became a nightmare with his extremely low mana bar, and high mana cost abilities. This mostly affected top lane Warwick, but Warwick mains were excited to hear that he was finally getting some love. Love that would turn him into a brutal blood hunting monster. There were patches that were changing Warwick already, but this one patch was when Riot went too far. Patch 14.24. These first two changes weren't anything major, but the first line of the W was the problem. Bonus attack speed duration increased to 2.5 seconds from 0.75 seconds. Wait, what? What does that even mean? Well, Warwick's W has an active and a passive. One part of this passive gives him bonus attack speed to targets as they get lower on HP. This worked on anything that is a living creature, like minions, monsters, and epic monsters. Okay, so how does an increased duration help Warwick out so much? It made him a trading monster. If at any point someone steps up to a wave with a low minion, Warwick can start attacking a low health minion and immediately switch to the champion, and for 2.5 seconds, he gets the bonus attack speed he got from the minion. This also worked on towers, which made his split pushing capabilities unbelievably strong. Switching targets from one low health champion to another healthier champion was also a possibility with this change, making his 1v2 potential even better. His early game was already pretty okay, but now it became impossible to deal with. Not only that, since he can do this to towers, his late game split pushing tactic became one of the best in the game. He didn't receive one hotfix, he received two, and it didn't even stop him from continuing his rampage. In the new season of 2025, Jungle Warwick was getting outclassed, but top Warwick was still thriving for 2 to 3 more patches. I wouldn't be surprised if many top laners had a terrible experience with Warwick in the early season, but the only reason why he was getting weaker was because other champions were becoming much stronger. Chapter 2. The Noxian Jungler. Let's go back in time to patch 15.4. Darius became the best jungler for 2 patches in a row. Nothing could compare to this monster champion. How did a top laner somehow move to being the best jungler without even getting any major buff to his kit or stats? Let's now travel further back in time where Darius was given the ability to jungle. This is the year of 2020. Riot was trying a whole bunch of new things, and one thing they wanted to do was introduce more champions in the jungle like Darius, Garen, Gnar, and many other characters. This was a major bust though, as these champions were just not as good as the already in-meta junglers at the time. But these changes stayed in the game, collecting dust for a very long time. One part of the puzzle piece was now put into place. Let's fast forward now to the beginning of the 2025 season. A new year marks a whole bunch of changes to items, runes, and the map of League of Legends. One specific change though had a lot of people's attention, and that was the new rune of Axiom Arcanist. This rune gives you 12% bonus damage, healing, and shielding for your ultimate ability. Also, scoring takedowns reduces the cooldown of your ultimate by 7%. This rune is amazing on a lot of different champions, and is part of the reason why the meta shifted so much. Obviously, this is a rune that works really well on Darius and many other characters that have great ults. But this was just the second puzzle piece. Let's fast forward once more to patch 2025.S1.3. This patch explained a bunch of changes to champions, items, epic monsters, and even an increase of the cap to attack speed. None of these changes deal with Darius, but if we scroll all the way to the bug fixes and quality of life changes section, the very first line of this big section of so much stuff, one of the most important changes came out in League. All sources of damage amplification now increases all true damage. Why the hell is this in a quality of life changes section? This is a major change to the game that affects a bunch of champions, runes, and items. Before this patch, true damage never got any damage amplification from runes, items, and passive. True damage, by the way, is a type of damage that ignores all damage reduction like armor and magic resist. True damage is also pretty scarce. Yes, I know we have a bunch of champions with true damage, but the percentage of champions and items that deal true damage are 50% of the whole game. But now, every single damage amplification a champion can get from runes or items will now also be applied to their true damage. And if you put a true damaging ult plus Axiom Arcanist together, a champion will now deal an extra 12% true damage to a target with their ultimate. Sounds pretty crazy on paper, and it matched everyone's expectations of how broken some of these champions became. Cho'Gath, Garen, and of course, Darius. Not only did this boost their pick rate and win rate by a lot, but also this made these champions a pretty viable pick for pro play. If you thought a Garen top lane pick for pro play would be troll, you would be right, but now killing a target at 40% HP from an ultimate is a big consideration a lot of people are taking into account. So now we have the three puzzle pieces connected. One is the possibility of Darius being able to jungle. 2 was the introduction to Axiom Arcanist, and 3 was the immense true damage buff that he got from his ultimate. There are some extra reasons why this worked out this way, but these 3 are the biggest reasons. Now, I want to talk about one other reason why this became so strong. Darius as a champion has one weakness. He has no mobility and can be kited, but the combination of these 3 items made him almost impossible to escape. For Darius jungle, you would build Youmuu's, Swiftness Boots, and Deadman's Plate. All 3 of these items gives you some sort of mobility that made him so hard to get away from. He also ran Phase Rush and 3 other movement speed runes to make him one of the fastest champions in the game. On top of that, Youmuu's gave him enough damage and lethality to get onto a target and kill them with his ultimate extremely quickly. So Darius would run into you, use all of his abilities in 3 to 4 seconds, ult you, and now your screen is gray. Pretty much had zero counterplay. The first patch this was happening had a slow start, but the next patch, Darius was the 3rd most picked jungler in the patch, with a 53.99% win rate in Emerald plus Elo. This champion is supposed to be an easy champion that stomps low Elo, but struggles to compare in high Elo. But it didn't matter when so many things were helping him accomplish the high win rate. Finally, in patch 15.6, Darius got nerfed. That stopped his reign of terror, but to only be outclassed and outshadowed by the biggest blunder of Riot in 2025. Naafiri was a champion that Riot had forgotten, just like Warwick. What the heck is up with Riot and neglecting dogs for some reason? Nasus buffs and nerfs are always small or non-existent. Naafiri I haven't heard until this year. Warwick was only in my mind because of Arcane, but back to my point. Naafiri was a champion that had a dying player base. Her kit is very simple, and was made that way because Riot wanted to introduce an easy-to-play assassin. Yeah, she is very easy to play, but boring, and in the past couple of patches, AP has been dominating. At least in the mid lane. So Riot wanted to help the Wolf Pack by giving her a better kit by doing the Diana treatment. Swap a regular ability and ultimate. That's not all they did obviously, but that is the big major change she had in patch 15.6, with a lot of changes to her numbers and how the abilities work. Even though Naafiri was unpopular, she still had some very consistent high damage if she landed her abilities. The reason why she became such an issue was the big overbuff she got on all her abilities. She lost some power with her packmates, but every other ability got some type of buff that could help her with her wave clear, dueling potential, or slipperiness. Her new W had one little addition that made a humongous impact. Whenever she Ws, she becomes untargetable for 1 second. She can't do damage during this time, but she has the ability to move, and her packmates will still be able to attack. Being untargetable is a major buff than most people think. Yeah, it stops her from taking damage for 1 second. Big deal. But it is a big deal. Being untargetable lets you escape almost any type of damage heading towards your way, even click on abilities, autos, and the big one, turret aggro. Naafiri can tower dive extremely well now, as her W offers her an escape tool from tower aggro after killing an opponent under tower. It is almost like she is a new Elise with her tower diving potential, and that's why she wasn't only just strong in mid lane, but also jungle, as she already had potential in jungle, but the ability to dive turrets gave her an OP spot in the jungle tier list as well. She was one of the least played lowest win rate champions in the game, to being just like Darius, the top 3rd played jungler with a 93% win rate in patch 15.6. Thankfully, her reign of terror got shut down pretty quickly, but hopefully 2025 will have some less eventful champions. I'm looking at you, Yorick. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. If you want to get better at League, I would love to help. I'm still offering free coaching bot reviews for anyone that would like one. Just go into the description of this video and add me on Discord so we can get one started for you. Anyways, I hope 2025 will be better for Riot, and I hope your ranked games are going well. Take care now.